Good morning, everybody. So happy to be here with you again. I am Lauren Lefkowitz. I am an executive leadership coach, and I talk about how fine is a trap and breaking the work, sleep, repeat cycle. And so glad to be here today on my own 21-day challenge that nobody asked for, to get to know you and to let you get to know me and what I do and how I do it. I'm streaming live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. And I'm in like a real awkward position. Yesterday, I went live on Instagram and I was sideways for the whole time. So today I'm trying it the right way, but I'm looking into the LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook camera. So I'm like not really talking at my Instagram audience. So if you've got tips for how to do it all, how to be a woman who does it all, let me know. If you've got a good setup where your Instagram eye line is the same as your StreamYard or Restream eye line, I would love to know. For my Instagram audience, and Jamie, I see you're on Instagram. Thanks for being here. For my Instagram audience, I'll keep glancing up to say hi and take comments. But for the most part, I'm not looking at you, but it doesn't mean I don't care. I care a lot. We've got a couple of people with us today. Chris, hey Chris, thanks for joining. And we've got Lee. Thanks for being here, Lee. And let's see, Ahmed, hope you're doing good. I am doing great. Today's a great day. Thank you for asking. I hope you're doing great also. And Aftab as well. Hello, everyone. Hello, welcome. So glad to have everybody here. I love an interactive conversation. So if you've got questions along the way, if I skip over something too fast, just let me know in the comments and I'll come back to it. We've got LinkedIn users saying hello, Lauren, and that's because whoever you are, you have not given permission to StreamYard to use your name. And so hello, and also tell me who you are. Glad to have you here. And Dale, welcome back, Dale. Thanks for coming. So glad to have you here. And let's see, we've got, someone looking for work. Okay. Look, networking's networking. You never know where you're going to find work. Graphic designer, free work. I don't love free work, but you do you, my friend. Christine Ray is here saying hello. Thank you so much. So I am going to talk today about, first of all, why I'm doing this 21-day challenge. Like, who does that? What's that for? And also very quick recap on yesterday's live in case you want to go back and watch it. And also talk to you today about why April 8th is a really significant day in my life, because it's the day I quit my corporate life. So if you missed yesterday and today, I'm kind of talking about me, but really like in the context of you, because a lot of people who hear my story have similar stories. Although I don't know anybody else who broke both of their shoulders chasing a Roomba vacuum. I might be the only one who did that. Abby, so nice to see you. You're so sweet. You gave me free advice. Thank you so much. It's so nice to see you back. So my short story is 20 years in corporate HR. Before that, 3 different careers in about 3.5 years in meeting planning assistance, sales, and accounting. And I loved HR, loved it until I hated it. And then I loved it again. And then it was fine. And then I loved it again. And then I didn't love it at all anymore. And I didn't want to do it anymore. So for the full story on that, including some highlights like I had a 10-year chronic illness and I didn't want anybody to know about it. And like I said, I broke my shoulders chasing a vacuum. Also a really cool story. Go ahead and watch yesterday's live, and I hope to see you as we go forward. Megan. Oh, hey, Megan. Proud of how you're showing up in the world, Lauren. Thank you. You too, everybody. Megan has a new book. So if you're not already following Megan, check her out on LinkedIn, Instagram. She's a very smart lady and really awesome. And I bought her book. So go get it. Okay. And we've got Arturo saying, last week I quit my job of 19 years. I didn't hesitate and just did it. So proud of you. That is so awesome. Totally amazing. And we've got Katie. You guys, thanks for showing up. I'm so happy everyone's here today. Katie says, we've got some call outs in the chat for not pitching in the live. I actually wouldn't have pulled it up if I had read it first. You both are correct, and I stand behind that too. Don't like when people come on to a live, whether it's mine or anyone else's, to pitch. So let's not do that. Let's just be here, be friends, be in the discussion. So great. So 1 year ago today, I gave my notice, and maybe you saw the picture on my LinkedIn post today about going live of me with my jaw dropped. I mean, I was literally walking around my home after I got off a Zoom call with my boss with that face. And I was like, I got to capture this because I was so surprised that someone like me, and me in particular, could do this. Ashwin, thank you so much for being here. I'm so glad you made it. And Katie says, just yelling at people in your chat. Yeah, that's fine. Katie, Chris, you have full carte blanche to be my bouncers for this. Whatever you need, whoever you judge can be here and can't be here, you just let them know in the chat. Ahmed coming back with, you're a great lady, Lauren Leftwoods. Thank you so much. And we've got Catherine saying, it's so scary to walk away from a job with benefits, even if the benefits aren't great. It's so funny you bring that up, because that was my big scary story. Was the story I had in my head was I could never quit my job. I could never go out on my own because I needed benefits, as though like benefits don't exist in the rest of the US. And they do, it turns out. And I'm going to shout out to Katie McManus, who's my business coach, who I started working with in January of 2021 when I was thinking about going out on my own. And I had my first conversation with Katie, who is saying she remembers getting that picture last year. My first conversation with Katie, where I said, I want to be out on my own, or at least part-time in an HR job within about 5 years. And Katie said, okay, why 5 years? And I said, well, I need to have benefits. I need to be covered. I need to save up like a couple of years' salary. I need to really be all set to do this. And so Katie asked me some questions, and we got back to benefits. And that was my biggest fear, because if you listen to yesterday's live, as a person who has lived with chronic illness for a bunch of years, I am an expensive patient. I don't have any, knock me out. I mean, we're protected in the US anyway from not getting benefits, but I don't have any like knock me out of the running for life insurance kind of issues, but I take 23 pills a day and an inhaler and all kinds of stuff. I've had a fun history. And all of that to make me look this good. And so I said to Katie, my fear is that I will need benefits and they will be so expensive that I won't be able to handle it. And Katie's saying, I'm trying to comment with a million heart emojis, but it won't let me. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. And Katie asked me to calculate how much it would cost me to go out to the market, have a disastrous, catastrophic year, and how much out-of-pocket money I would need. And I looked it up and I gave her the number. And she said, great, decide what you want to make, add that number to it. That's what you need to make. And I said, oh, that's it? It's that easy? So not only was it that easy, but with Katie's help and with my own support of me, which was not something I had really worked on in the past. I was always someone who did all the things for other people. But I decided to support me. And in 3 months, I was ready to go out on my own. And so I worked really hard to get my notice ready. And I gave it on this day 1 year ago. I'm just going to pause. We've got some comments, and I'm still getting used to managing comments as I go, and I'm learning that I don't put all the comments up, right? And we've got from Arturo, doesn't have any backup. You just quit your job after 19 years and you're not worried about it because everything always works out for you. That's awesome. So amazing to be a person who is invested in possibility and excited for whatever your future will bring. That's awesome. And Catherine says, that's the story I'm telling myself, Lauren. I have no idea how to do it. I'll have to check out yesterday's live. Catherine, get support. If you want to have a conversation with me about believing in yourself, I'm happy to do that. If you want to have a conversation with Katie, she's right here in the comments if you're looking to start your own business. It becomes doable by first believing that it's doable. And it becomes possible by having just a tiny inkling of belief in yourself. And then also deciding you're not supposed to do it alone. Because I was always a person who did it alone. I was always a person who managed all my stuff quietly in the background and went out to market, right? My market was employees and HR, and helped everybody else with everything. And so when you're the person who helps everybody with everything, you don't think anybody can help you, and you don't think you should need help. Jennifer says that she's also an expensive patient. Welcome to the club, Jennifer. We should compare notes. And Lee says, at least being the VP of everything set you up to do all the things in a small business. That is true. If you haven't seen yesterday's live or any of my other posts about this, I have interim managed every department. I was the chronic hand raiser and the one who said, I'll do it anytime there was silence in the room. And so as an HR professional and an HR executive, I have also managed marketing and finance and programs departments and fundraising, and you name it, I've probably touched on it at some point. And so, yeah, it totally set me up for being the president of everything, actually now, the CEO of everything in my own small business. I don't love all the things, though. The only person that I've hired officially and pay a monthly fee to, besides my business coach, of course, is my accountant, because I don't want to do numbers at all. Okay, so on to me giving my notice. So 3 minutes in to my first call with Katie, we agreed that I wouldn't need 5 years to get ready to go out on my own. And I realized, and so Katie and I started working together in January of 2021. And I realized in March of 2021 that I could do this in 6 months, 8 months, something like that. And the timeline kept getting shorter. So as I got more prepared, as I started charging clients what I was supposed to be charging clients, and not just doing favors or taking whatever money people would throw at me, or giving a different, very low rate to everybody who I talked to, Katie helped me organize everything. And Katie, I should have brought you on with me today. Helped me organize everything so that I actually had a book of clients when I was ready to leave my job, and realizing that with the little amount of time I had to spend on building the business, I was still able to really build it and get myself to a position financially, mindset wise, to get out there and just do this on my own. And so on April 8th, 2021, I had a meeting with my boss, CEO of the organization. And I told him that I was giving my notice. And his face fell a little bit, because I was a really good partner to the business. I worked really hard. I did a really good job. And I told him I was giving 2 months notice. And he asked me for a third month. And I gave it to him because I wanted to leave really nicely. And I wanted to leave something I had built and something I had spent so much time and energy and love building. I wanted to leave it well. I didn't just want to disappear from it and be done with it. And so while we were talking, I used some of the enrollment skills I'd learned. and asked if I could coach some employees after I had left. And so we had a business exchange while I was giving my notice, and I had the opportunity to coach a few employees from that organization after I left. So that was actually like an even cooler moment, right? And I think the jaw drop when I gave my notice was both for giving my notice and also asking for business on my way out the door. And Lee said the universe may have caused the shoulder breaking to get you to quit raising your hand. Lee, you are not wrong. It's the first thing that everybody I know said to me. And you are correct. I literally could not raise my hand. If you're sitting here and listening to me and you've never broken your shoulders, just like do a little shoulder dance right now. And for the next like 30 seconds, just recognize that every time you move, your shoulders are in action. It is very difficult to not be able to use your shoulders. And my hand only went up to here. And so, yeah, Lee, that was the big joke was, oh, you can't be a hand raiser anymore. You literally cannot be a hand raiser anymore. I was, though. I went back to work and I hand raised and I worked really hard until I broke myself. And I talked about that a little bit yesterday, but I worked myself so hard to thank my employer, which they weren't asking me to do, for being kind while I was out for almost 4 months, recovering from the shoulder injury. And I worked myself almost to death, to the point where when the newest thing came up, which was the last straw for me, which was the pandemic, and everybody turned around to me and said, like, what do we do? I was like, I don't effing know. Like, I was done. I couldn't stay this way for much longer. And we've got LinkedIn user. Sorry, I can't see your name. You have to give permission to StreamYard somewhere to get your name shown on here. But yeah, the helping everybody part hits a nerve. I know a lot of people, clients, other coaches, executives, people working their way up to executive, who are just natural helpers, who hit this like flattery mountain, right? Of like, oh, they're asking me to help. I'm so flattered. I'm going to offer more help. Oh, I'm going to help even more. Oh, I'm going to do some more stuff. Oh, they're asking me to do more. Oh, they're asking me to do more. Oh, they're asking me to do more. I don't want to do anything ever for anybody. And you drop off a cliff. So I so get the helping everyone part. I am a born people pleaser, and it's something that I work on every day. Chris says, impatiently waiting for the day when I can leave my job, LOL. Well, I don't need to introduce you to Katie. You already know her. I'm sure you're on the right track, Chris, and I'm rooting for you. Ahmed asks, what do you think is the ideal time to quit a job? I mean, for me, it was April 8th, 2021. That's a hard thing to answer. I don't think I can tell you that. I think that's something you have to decide for yourself. You have to decide whether you're willing to take the risk. You have to decide what that risk is. Is it, you have another job lined up? Is it you're going out on your own? But these are conversations I have with my clients. A lot of my clients come to me not knowing whether they want to quit their job, whether they need to just ask for help, whether they should be asking for more money or a promotion, whether they just need to set some boundaries. And with my clients, about half of them end up staying in their job that they're already in. They're just doing it differently. And the other half of my clients realize things aren't going to get better here and I need to leave. And then they decide, am I leaving for my own thing, or am I leaving for another job or another career, another industry? So, I would just say, like, be real thoughtful about it and decide what your risk tolerance is and what might work for you. Yeah. Ashwin says, I remember walking up to my boss with an intent to leave and quit. The shock on his face, loved it. Yeah. I didn't love the shock on his face, on my CEO's face. I didn't want to leave the organization empty of HR. This particular job was very close to my heart because I had built the department from nothing. I came in to an organization that was 25 years old and had over 50 employees, which in the HR world is like, how do you not have HR? And the CEO said to me, like, I don't know what you're supposed to do here, but I know we need you, so go ahead. And so I built from the ground up. And so I wanted everything to stay intact and be able to be maintained. So for me, leaving nicely was so important. Not that I don't think you left nicely, but I wasn't looking for shock. I was looking for like, let's figure this out as nicely as we can. Another shout out for Katie on my lives. I'll take it. I love Katie too. We've got Danielle saying, I was stuck with more work, no raise, no promotion, and bounced after 3 years. Overused, overworked, and underappreciated. Counter offer after I had already resigned. I could talk to you for days about counter offers. Don't do them. Don't accept them. They never work out. Good for you, Danielle, for realizing that you were under everything and for realizing that you needed something else. You needed another place and another opportunity. And Ashwin adds that he did it working on his side hustle while he had his job. That's what I was doing, and built it to the level that you could leave. Awesome. Yeah. And Dale is kicking in, asking you to do more. Dale, you and I have talked about this endlessly, and I could talk to you for days. No good deed goes unpunished. There's no end point. There can be, if you know how to set boundaries, if you are willing to set boundaries. And if you're doing it on your terms, right? So for me, my compulsion was to do it for anybody, anytime, whatever they needed, no matter what, which is not a great way to do a good deed, because you get punished for it. You don't get thanked as much as you expect to get thanked. You don't get recognized. You don't get promoted. You don't get more money. And people start counting on you as the person who will do anything. And then you'll do it because you don't want to not be the person anymore who will do anything. Chris, thanks for bouncing in the comment section and taking on some of my questions for me. Great job. Love it. So I gave my notice. I gave 2 months notice. I ended up with 3 months notice, which I was good with. We actually held off on announcing me for a month because there was so much time in between when I was leaving and when my notice was given. And we had a really big promotion coming for somebody who had been with the organization for a long time. It was a pretty big deal that the person was being made an executive and taking on a bigger role. And I didn't want to interrupt that with leaving this organization after 6 years being a teardown of that. And then I spent the rest of that day on April 8th just telling people who I didn't work with, because it was still, under wraps at work. And every time I told people, my jaw was dropping. And it's really hard to surprise me. Look, I was in HR for 20 years. I heard all the weird things. If you're here today with me live, or if you're watching the replay and you're in HR, we don't hear the gossip of who's dating who. We hear all the crazy things of somebody hurled their set of keys at somebody else's face, and this guy threw hot coffee at that person's crotch, and all kinds of things. Anyway, I digress. I got myself off track into HR stories, but I was shocked. I had done it. I planned it. I was ready for it. I was excited for it. And I was shocked that I had done it. And also really proud of myself, because I was sure it was the right thing for me. And not for nothing, but if you're looking at this and you're like, wow, Lauren, if Lauren can do it, I can do it. I'm not going to recommend that for you. And here's why. If you are going to go out on your own, you have to be super, super sure that you can self-sustain being out on your own. Being an entrepreneur is freaking hard. It's awesome. I love it. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I will never go back into a full-time corporate job. Still do a little HR consulting here and there, But my main focus is coaching. And I love having control over my own schedule. I love the way that I'm growing. I love the things that I'm learning. But if 3 years ago me had quit her job to do this without support, without figuring all my stuff out, and by my stuff, I don't just mean like, how am I going to make money, but like, who am I? What am I afraid of? And how come I haven't cried in so many years, which I've learned to do. So I wouldn't recommend it unless you're sure that you want to do it. And the way you get sure is by getting support. And I'm going to be saying this over the next 19, 20 days of my 21-day self-imposed challenge that nobody asked me to do. I asked me to do because I didn't even know I needed support. I just thought if I could do things, then I could do them. And if I couldn't do them, they couldn't be done. And it's a really common way to think when you're a high achiever, when you're an executive, when you're on your way to the executive track, when you're in the executive track. It's a really common way to think. Like, it will look weak and vulnerable and stupid if I tell somebody I can't do everything by myself. And at the same time, we're helping, we helpers, we independent achievers are telling other people what to do. We're coaching other people. We're helping other people figure out what they want to do. And then we're all stuck in ourselves. And so for me, this path to hiring my own coach, hiring a business coach, really looking deeply into myself through coaching, through therapy, through friends, through my own work, that's what got me to this place where I realized I wanted to be out on my own. And so if you're thinking about something different and you're thinking like, I don't know what to do next. I don't know. I just know like everything sort of isn't what I want it to be, which is where I was at the end of my HR career. I don't want this anymore. If that's what you're thinking, this big ball of this that you carry, your career or your job or your boss or the money you're making or the hours you're working, all of that stuff is so important to look at. And what we do when we're busy professionals is we just sit in it and we just look at this like big mashup of stuff and we don't know what's wrong. And that's why my tagline is fine as a trap and break the work, sleep, repeat cycle, because we just go on autopilot. And I did that for years and years and years until I had a literal breaking point with my shoulders and then a, existential breaking point when the pandemic started. And so it's really important, for me, when I went from working 80 to 100 hours a week down to 40, which was not fast, it was not immediate, it was not easy, but it was worth it. I suddenly had the headspace to think about what I wanted to do next. And where I had always assumed I would be in HR until I retired, now I was realizing the part of my job that I had always loved the most over the last 20 years was the part of my job where I coached people, which, by the way, was never on a job description. Performance management was, employee relations was, discipline was, coaching was never on my job description, and I always did it. And there were employees who I met with monthly or every 2 weeks to have, sort of informal coaching sessions. And I realized for myself that once I had balance and once I had the opportunity to really dig into who I wanted to be and what I wanted to do for a living, that what I wanted was to just coach. And I wanted to do it my way and on my terms. And that's what led me to working for myself. But most of my clients don't go and work for themselves. The ones who switch jobs have this like quiet dream of doing the part of their job that's 10% of their job all the time. And they think it doesn't exist. Or they want to do what that person over there does. And they're at the same level, but they think they have to go down 10 levels in order to rise up in another company. That's not true either. So what I would recommend for you, 2 things. 1, check out the Fine as a Trap inventory, which is something I created for you to take stock of what you do as a job, what the aspects are of it, how those are working for you, and how it all balances out. Do you even like what you're doing? Are you happy? Are you enjoying going to work? And that's at fineIsAtrap.com. I got the domain. So check out fineIsAtrap.com, download that inventory. If you do it, let me know. Let me know how it went. Let me know what the balance is. Shoot me a DM. And the other thing I would recommend is figure out how to get some support. So I offer a free strategy call where we can talk about what's happening for you, what you need to sort through, if you need to sort through what you don't want, what you do want, or anything in between. And we can talk about what the possibilities are and the opportunities are for you. And keep following me. Keep coming back to my lives for the next 19 days. And tell me in the comments, if you watch it live or if you watch it in the replay, what else you want to hear about? What resonates with you? What do you want me to get deeper into? I'm going to talk about all kinds of things over the next several days. I'm going to talk about the hours we work, why we say yes, why we keep saying yes, what happens when we want to start saying no, what happens when we like some aspects of our job but not others, and also things like the it could be worse mentality that we give ourselves. Catherine, thank you so much for putting that in the chat. I appreciate it. Lost my train of thought. I got so excited that I got my own mention in the chat. The it could be worse is that feeling you have when you justify why you should stay where you are. Well, it could be worse. I could have a meaner boss, or it could be worse. I could get paid even less, or it could be worse. I could go somewhere else and I could never be allowed to take vacation. That's all underlying fear. So I'm going to talk about tons of things over the next several days. Please feel free to let me know what you want to talk about. Let me know if you want to get into a conversation with me, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day, everyone.